In this video, I'm going to help you stick to your diet.
They don't wanna see us win. They don't wanna see us win. Man, they would rather see us fall. Man, they would rather see us fall. See, people easily forget.
We all know dieting can be a drag. So here are a few of my tips to help you guys get through your diet and make it a little bit less painful. I'm sorry, baby. What is going on with my hair? The first thing that you guys should do is to make sure you pre-plan your meals for at least the next couple of days. So I like to do it for around 3 days in advance. Just write down, I actually log it in MyFitnessPal, but it's up to you what you want to do with that. Write down exactly what I want to eat, what the meals contain, and just make sure that I'm happy with that. And that will give you an idea of the things that you need to buy at the supermarket. Which takes us to tip number 2. So the next thing I suggest you do is to work out your meal timing. So I like to set my meals around 3 hours apart. It seems like a pretty serious thing to do. A lot of bodybuilders do it and everything like that, but it does help because if I find myself hungry at 10 and my next meal is at 11, it makes it so much easier for me to push through just that 1 more hour. I just make a cup of tea or a black coffee or just drink some water and it will get me through. So whereas if those times weren't set, I probably would have just eaten my meal, and then it throws off the timing of all your other meals and you end up finished all your calories too early in the day, and then you end up hungry later. So that's something that you can consider. The next thing I suggest you do is to get a tracking program on your phone, like a tracking app. For instance, MyFitnessPal. Some of you don't want to track exactly what you're eating, which is totally perfectly fine if you're not seriously into it. Come over here, lady. If you're not like fully into it and you think that that is just a little bit too much, then that's totally understandable. But I suggest you use it every now and then just to see exactly what the macronutrients and the calories are in the foods you're eating. It just helps to give you a little bit of a better understanding. If, you know, you want to eat an apple, you know, it's good to know how many calories and how many carbohydrates are in that, for instance, just so you can make a conscious decision on whether or not that's the right option for you or something else could be better, depending on where you are at in your diet. The next thing I suggest is to make sure that you're drinking enough water. A lot of the time when we are hungry for certain foods, specifically cold foods, it can be a sign that you're actually just really thirsty. So yeah, make sure you're drinking enough water. I did another video on how to increase your water intake, so make sure you go and check that one out if that's something that interests you. A little tip for people in the winter, if you're somewhere where it's really cold right now, I tend to make a lot of coffees to try and stay warm, but you don't really need to have like 6 to 8 coffees a day. So what I like to do is just boil the kettle and just actually drink boiling water. Like obviously not boiling when I'm drinking it, but I just drink warm water because I'm actually only drinking it to try and stay warm. So it doesn't need to be coffee every single time. And if you can't drink just water, then chuck a tea bag in it, get some herbal tea, something like that. It's another good option for you. So the next thing I recommend is to learn what foods work for you. So I have a bit of a sweet tooth, and for the last around 2 weeks I've been having a protein bar as a snack every day at work, and it hasn't resulted very well for me. Essentially the sweetness, even though it's artificial sweetness, it still gives me cravings, which means that later in the day when I get home I want to have a lot of sweet stuff, and I'm essentially ruining my diet. I'm not sticking to my plan and eating whatever sweet stuff I can find in my pantry. So I've learned from that now, and I went food shopping today. I didn't buy any protein bars, or I like to have corn thins with this cocoa 2 spread on it, and that's something that I've been eating like 4 to 6 of them a day just because I have that sweet tooth craving. So I didn't buy any of that, and I didn't buy any protein bars, and I'm hoping that that will you know, that will stop me from having such a sweet tooth throughout the week. So yeah, there might be other things that are triggers for you, but things like that specifically I've learned now. For me, it's not something that I can have every single day. There's nothing wrong with eating protein bars here and there, but for me, it's not. It's just not something I can do every single day. So yeah, just learn what works for you, and it will be really helpful for you to stick with it. The next thing is to mix it up. don't eat the same thing every single day for every single meal. A lot of people do meal prep, and that means that they just cook one batch of whatever it is, and then they just eat that every single day for every meal, and I couldn't think of anything worse. It's like a punishment. So I actually don't do meal prep. What I do is in the morning I wake up and I decide what I want to eat for the day, and I put it in my Fitness Pal, and then I cook it. A lot of the time, just for convenience, it is stir fry, which is a frozen packet mix that I get from Coles. I just cook up meat. I cook up enough for 2 meals. Throw it in the pan, and I also put in some chopped cabbage. Cabbage is high in fiber, so it helps me get through. I am dieting in a deficit at the moment, so that's something that helps me out a lot. And what else do I do? So, oh yeah, so I choose different sauces every day. So I've got some here. I bought this Fountain Hickory barbecue sauce one. I haven't actually had this one yet. And I also bought Master Foods honey mustard sauce. So it's good to just have a couple of different flavors. I've also got soy honey sauce in the fridge. Because I have stir fries every day, it's just good to have different sauces to mix it up. And I also have different protein sauces. So I have beef strips and turkey mince and chicken. And so I just decide on the day which protein sauce I want and what sauce I want. And also, if you want to add carbs in as well, it can be either rice or pasta or whatever works. So I think it's, for me, easier to stick to my diet if I'm eating what I want on the day and just making it. If I do meal prep, I don't know, I find it harder to stick to it. But a lot of people like meal prep because they don't have to think about it. They just grab it from the fridge and off you go. But seriously, guys, it's all about working out what works for you and what's going to get you to the finish line. Now, if you're someone that likes to sleep in a lot on the weekend, you can use that to your benefit whilst dieting. So if you are in a caloric deficit, so you're eating to lose weight, then you can consider eating a meal the night before that was actually scheduled for that day. If you're not going to be awake and you're not going to be eating it, then you can use that meal elsewhere and it will be fine. You're not going to gain any extra weight because you're going to be fasting when you're sleeping anyway. So that's something that you can do. And also, if you're bulking, that's another way for you to make sure that you don't have to eat so much more food when you wake up because you've been fasting. So eat that meal before you go to bed the night before, and it will just help you out in that way. So the next thing is cardio. A lot of people don't like doing cardio and end up having to do it anyway. So you may as well try and find a way to enjoy it. But I find that if I'm doing cardio every day because I'm trying to lose weight, then it helps me to stick to my diet because I don't want to be doing cardio in vain if I'm just eating junk or eating over my calories. So yeah, it helps me to stick with my diet because if I'm about to eat a chocolate bar, for instance, and I know that it's going to take me over my calories and pretty much ruin my diet for the day, I just consider the fact that I've trained and I've done cardio once or twice that day already, and I don't want to spoil it. So that's something that works for me. I'm hoping it works for you too. And last but not least, guys, is to track your progress. This may mean taking progress pictures, it may mean taking measurements or using the scale, but basically as soon as you see progress, a lot of people will tell you that is going to be your greatest motivation to keep sticking to it. And it is true. Every time I see progress from progress pictures, I'm so much more motivated to keep going. So that's something that will be really helpful for you. Make sure you don't just diet and not track or care about anything like that, because you're not going to stick to it. Trust me, I've done it before. So good luck, everybody. If you're dieting, if you're bulking or cutting or maintaining, whatever it is you're doing, I hope these tips are helpful for you and you achieve the goals that you set out. If you guys need any help if you have any questions about dieting or nutrition or training, anything like that, please send them through to me. I will answer them to the best of my ability. And if I can't answer them, I will forward your information to someone that will be able to help you. So take care of yourself, guys, and I will see you in the next video.
They don't wanna see us win. They don't wanna see us win. Man, they would